now.
Hi there, virtual world. Just as we're waiting to go live and go on Facebook, we're just kind of riffing about vegan stuff. So welcome to the Wise Power Hour. And you don't have to be a vegan to join us, yay. So one of the things is, I just want to say this is one of my most favorite subjects. And, you know, today we're going to be talking about building trust. And because we are in the Zoom world or Teams world or whatever COVID world, we need to really try to build connections virtually. And we got to keep building that for our businesses. So first of all, my name is Barb Stone. I'm one of the Wise Women's Business Center business coaches, counselors, and we've got with us Lacey. Lacey, introduce yourself there.
Hey guys, I am Lacey Roy-Ciciriello and I own Full Body Health, which is a nutrition company currently based in Syracuse that does things a little differently. And no, it's not vegan, just me.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. And the name of my company is Build Your Path, because I'm a leadership development coach. I truly, truly believe that we need to lead ourselves before we can lead our organizations and leading the people and how we can partner with everybody in the community. So I am so excited about this topic here. So before we go on to the topic, I want to give a little commercial for who we are. And we are the Wise Women's Business Center. And if you don't mind, my contacts have gotten stronger, so I need glasses.
We do mind, Barb.
What's that?
So we do mind.
Yeah, I know.
No
we won't be able to read. The Wise Women's Center works diligently over the past months to develop content. We've been doing this, can you believe it? We're almost doing this now a year. And to address your biggest concerns during this COVID, anything that's happening within your business. So we really want you to think about staying engaged with us on Facebook. Go to our site, wisecenter.org, and follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram for access to our knowledge and everything that's going on, because we've got a lot of things going on. We just did some Microsoft training, and we're going to be having, the Wise Center is rolling out a new business plan for our clients, and we're going to be following up with different training that's going to be able to help you as a business leader, you as a woman business leader, to be able to put your passion, your thing out in the world. So I want you to know that we do this. This is a free service to you. So if you're interested in counseling, please go to the Wise Women's Center, the wisecenter.org, sign up for counseling. There's so many different opportunities. There's so many opportunities just to have a guide and a support to support you through your process. So Kristen, welcome. Anybody on Facebook, please pipe in. We really would like to make this an interactive discussion. So one of the things that the topic again here is building trust and connecting connections virtually. So whether we are doing things virtually or we are doing things face-to-face prior to this COVID, one of the biggest things that I think that is so important about creating that trust and creating that connection is building a relationship. You are building a relationship. You are meeting people in your business or for your business, but it's all about the relationship that you are developing. And so I want to start out with a quick story. And I told Lacey I'm going to keep it quick and short. And I want to tell you about what happened to me. Because, when I first got out of college, everybody says, well, you got to network. And I go, network? That means I got to put myself out there? Are you kidding me? I'm feeling like I was so shy. But no, you really do. And you need to put yourself, find that voice, find your pitch about who you are, making sure it's strong. And that's something we're going to be talking about That's part of what goes on in our live plan. It is a pitch sheet for you. But when I first got out, I finished my MBA, and I'm going like, everybody's saying, well, you got to network. So I started networking, and I met, but I got to take a step back. What got me really thinking about this was when I was in the manufacturing world, I had been a member of MACNY, Manufacturing Association of Central New York, and Randy Wolken, the CEO, president of the organization, sent out an email on Friday that says, the subject title was Leaders Don't Network. And I'm going like, huh? What do you mean leaders don't network? And so as you went and you read through the body, what he was talking about was that leaders create relationships. So what I did was I wrote him back and I said, oh my gosh, you really got me thinking here. So I ended up saying, well, my first job out of graduate school was with Larry Higbee, and I met him at a networking meeting for students. And he immediately said, hey, would you like to come and work for me? Well, I had been interviewing with Xerox back then and everything like that, but ultimately I went to go and work for him. While I was there, I ended up teaching a class up at Syracuse University in managerial accounting. And one of my professors ended up saying, hey, are you ready to look for another job? Can I get your resume? I'd like to be able to send it to New Venture Gear. So I left Larry Higbee, but I want to let you know the relationship I had with Larry Higbee, I still talk to Larry at least twice a month. And that's well over 20 years. We developed a good relationship. I went to go work for New Venture Gear. I got hired. The hiring manager was Fred Price. To this day, he and his wife and Frank and I are friends, and we go out to dinner. We built relationships. I left New Venture Gear and I went to corporate. And when I was at corporate, what I was doing a lot of traveling, but I wanted to come back to Syracuse. When I came back to Syracuse, I started going to a lot of different groups and trying to get reconnected to the community. And one of the things I did was find a wine tasting club. And the president of the wine tasting club was the president of Crucible. And eventually through the process, he said, Barb, are you thinking about leaving New Venture Gear? By that time, Magna was purchasing us. And I said, I'm thinking about it. He says, I'd like you to come and work for me. So what ended up happening was I went to work for Crucible, but Jim and I and his wife are still friends today. Then I left Crucible for a little bit and I got a call from a guy that I had when I was working at Higbee that I had met when I was developing the ISO 9000 for our company. And he says, hey, Barb, I just lost my executive vice president and CFO. Do you know of anybody? And I said, Sam, who? What do you want? And he goes, Barb, somebody like you. And I want to let you know, I did go to work for him for a little while. And then I went back to Crucible. But I still see Sam and his wife periodically for lunch. So one of the biggest things that as you are going out and you are meeting people, whether you're meeting people in person or you're meeting people in virtual sessions and platforms, is thinking about the relationship. It's not about here's my resume, here's my business card, but how can you really build that relationship with that person by being curious, asking them what's going on. It's not all about you. So I wanted to start off with that story. Did I keep it short enough, Lacey?
You did well. I was like, I don't think she needs me today. I'm just gonna, go over here. I'll go back to work, do my thing.
No.
Relationships are super important. One of the biggest things that I've seen in even virtual networking events, they do exist. You just have to get on the right mailing list. Rotary clubs, Chamber of Commerce's, other businesses are hosting them. WBOC hosts them. They're everywhere virtually. It's almost like how many people can I collect in the shortest amount of time and then get the heck out of Dodge? And it drives me insane. And I've had people ask me for my business card after spending 20 seconds with me. And I will literally say no. And they're like, well, are you here for networking? And well, I will give you my business card if you're actually interested in pursuing working together in some collaboration or figuring out who I am. But I don't know why you want my business card. And I'm not just going to hand them out. And it kind of slows them down. Because like you said, Barb, it's about relationships. So when I think of relationships, there's friendships, professional ones, romantic relationships. They all have the same thing in common, and it's spending time with people. It's bringing them value before you bring yourself value. It's fostering them. Barb has spent 20 years fostering relationships with the same people. I almost said a naughty word. I didn't, Carolyn, I'm learning. And you're still talking about how you're friends with the other person who got you that other job from however long ago. So a lot of times it's oh, well, I followed up with them with an email.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So what else are we doing? Are you going to follow them up in 2 weeks? Are you going to do like a virtual coffee? Are you going to like shoot them an email next month and let them know that you're thinking of them? Who did you send their way? Are you going to their business and supporting them? You know, like that relationship is a really big piece that's often missing.
You know, so absolutely. So just want to reiterate on some of your points there, because yes, it's that follow-up. It's that, you know, doing like a coffee afterwards. So one of the things that, and I'm going to say, when I went into this pandemic, I got so involved in Rotary, as you were talking about that, Lacey, chamber meetings. Nancy's here and she joins us on the Liverpool Coffee Talk that I've been doing every Tuesday morning since the end of March. And we are drawing so many people there. But I think there's a couple of things that you really want to think about. Number one, on Zoom or Teams, the loveliest thing about it is you get to know everybody. Like if you went to a networking room, a networking group, you know, you'd have to work the room and you wouldn't get to meet everybody. But on a Zoom call or a Teams call, you get to meet everyone and they get to meet you. And so therefore, you really want to be cognizant of their time. And one of the things I would like to end up asking you to think about is your pitch. Who are you? What are you selling? And also think about what is a good referral if you're in a networking group, because that you got to be really clear about who you are. You're just putting it out there for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and really start intently. And one of the things we didn't talk about is listening. Really listening to what people are saying and picking up on that. Because one of the things I want you to think about is you are bringing value. It's not what you can do for them, but it's also what you can bring as a value to the organization, the relationship, so that you want to know more about the other people that are in this networking group. Like even around here, I'm curious. Maricely, I haven't met you. I'd love to know more about you. And and Kristen and Joni, I know Joni, and of course, Nancy, I know Nancy. So, you know, I would like to be able to know more about who you are and what you do, because one of the things that's really important, and I just got a little note here that says that somebody wants to know if I'm serving martinis today. I don't know where that came from, but you know, hey, you can make a connection. You can listen to people as they're going around the room and talking, and really start intently thinking about who would you like to make a connection with? Who would you like to know more about? Not so much if you can help them. I mean, like just give them your business card and say, hey, come be one of my clients, but how can you help them? How can you give them that referral? How can you help them connect to somebody else? So that it is a way that it's going back to that fostering relationships from there.
When we're on Zoom, there's a couple things that we can do to foster that relationship building. Eye contact is a really big deal when we're establishing trust. So typically, like I'm doing now, I look at the people that I'm communicating with, but we forget that there's like this huge gap between the camera and the people. And so experts with Zoom etiquette are suggesting that when you're speaking, you actually look into the camera instead of the person's picture, because on the other receiving end, it feels like I'm talking right to you because I'm making eye contact with you. And then when they're speaking to you, you can look at their picture so you can get the nonverbals. And then when it's your time to speak again, or you want to say something, look directly into the camera. And also, this just drives me nuts. It's almost like a side note, but huge with establishing that trust so that you can connect with someone. Don't apologize for being you, and don't apologize for having anything, because in the world of Zoom, the dog's gonna start barking at any minute. Little kids may be running around, not in my household, but wherever. And instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry, sometimes it's much more polite and inclusive. It kind of be like, hey, you might see a kid's head pop up, and then just keep going. Don't apologize, don't stop. It's just daily life. And if we stand in power of who we are and be authentic with that, there's a really good way to establish that trust and authenticity.
You know what? Authenticity is such a big word. It comes out in your voice, it comes out in being who you are. And ultimately, it's like, if you were meeting somebody, giving the card, okay, hey, call me, but it's really being authentic to what you want to put out in the world, because ultimately somebody's going to really want to connect with you because they hear something in your voice. They hear something in your message. It's one of the things that I've been talking to some clients this week is about putting your voice out. Networking can be a little scary. It can be a little daunting. But when we start thinking that we've got a little bit of a fear, talking about dogs, you might be hearing my boy and girl barking upstairs, is when sometimes it is a little daunting to say, oh, who I am, what am I doing, and putting yourself out there. But a lot of times, if you don't say what you do and really mean it from that authentic voice, I love it, Lacey, love it, from your gut and from your heart about what you're doing, you may be robbing somebody of a message. You may be robbing somebody of a connection. You may be robbing something of what you do may actually fill a need that they have. So always, really, I love that. Authentic voice, authentic pitch, authentic connection. Cool. Great point.
You said something the other day, Barb, that resonated. I think about it all the time. That fear mindset can be really real, right? And we kind of feel it in our chest. We get nervous, like, oh, I'm gonna have to say this elevator speech. By the way, if you're really struggling coming up with an elevator speech that doesn't sound salesy to you, I feel like, man, I just sound so canned. If you YouTube search Donald Miller elevator speech, he has an amazing way to do it in a way that tells a story that people can connect with or walk away from, so that you're not feeling all salesy. Cool. But you had said the other day, Barb, well, you might be withholding this life-changing thing from someone. And the other day, as soon as we hung up the phone, I had the opportunity for someone I hold in very high esteem ask me a question about full-bodied health. And I kind of had that moment where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna back off a little bit. What if he thinks I'm stupid or this is ridiculous? And then I thought to myself, like, who the heck are you, Lacey Elizabeth Roy, to be holding back this life-changing thing from someone? Like, who are you? Check yourself. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's Barb.
Cool. But I want to tell you about planting a seed. So And that's perfect, because plant it. You just don't know when it's going to flourish and grow. And then you meet these people like Nancy. Nancy and I met before COVID hit. And she holds a networking, community living advocates, a networking group. And I wanted to go because I was curious about it. I wanted to meet more people. Nancy, you want to tell a little bit about your organization?
Sure. My organization is sort of like a chamber of commerce for organizations and businesses that care for older adults. So if you're looking for how to care for an older loved one, you can come to my organization and we'll help you with that. If you're looking for events, classes, resources, services, we can help with all that stuff. Because once you start caring for an older loved one, it gets really complicated very quickly.
So, I went to, before the shutdown, I went to this particular gathering just to be curious. And then I'm going like, well, my other half, he developed a diabetic cream. And he's also working on this survey and project about people entering their last third of their life and being able to do more and stuff like that. And I'm going like, so Nancy, I got to connect you with him. It's about the connections. It's about
Absolutely.
the referral.
And at that same meeting that I met you, Barb, you told me about the Liverpool Rotary.
Okay.
And we had never met before, and I actually helped start the Rotary. So I was like, you're kidding me. They're starting a Rotary in Liverpool? I want in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So never doubt, just putting yourself out there, you never know what's going to come back to you. And that seed was planted. So that there was something that grabbed hold of it, hooked Nancy in. I gotta say, I ended up there was somebody that linked me in before the COVID, and she was a financial planner, and somehow she searched she found me, and she's going, Barb, I'd like to connect with you. I do workshops periodically, and I wanted to get myself out there and my voice out there. And but then COVID hit, and I was thinking about her. I said, no, I should probably connect with her. And lo and behold, on LinkedIn, I got hey, can we reconnect? And I'm going, so what we did, we set up a meeting for next week to be able to see, hey, how can we help each other? So putting yourself out there and finding that authentic voice, making that authentic connection, and not being afraid to do it virtually is amazing. So go ahead, Lacey.
I'd say there's something to be said. So we've talked about connecting in new type of networking events. What about when we have employees, whether they're W-2, 1099? There's some talk about establishing that connection when most of us are 100% virtual and not working in the office anymore. Do you want me to keep going with that, or do you want to jump in, Barb?
Yeah, so it's been interesting. Like, I have a few friends that have started new jobs during this time, and it's a daunting. I have met everybody virtually. They have met everybody virtually, but they've not met anybody face to face. So I think it takes a little bit more of an effort to being able to make that connection, because I think that there's a lot to be said when you're in an office area, walk down the hall, get to know somebody, be introduced, and then having to get on the phone. And also for myself as a coach, I like to meet people face to face, because there's so much that can be embodied as people are doing things. And it's like, okay, I really prefer not to do a phone call. I would rather do Zoom and really see people. But I think with it, Lacey, we were talking a little bit about sometimes the Zoom can be distracting.
So I'm a big fan. This is my third year in business, but I use it for mostly because in 2020 we were shut down due to the pandemic for 8 of 12 months. But we have 4 PAC members currently, and we had 5 last year. Not all of them are even in our state. Whole Body Health was 100% virtual before the pandemic. And because so much is Zoom, I've discovered that there are some things we can do to build in connection if we can kind of be a little bit more flexible. And the telephone has been a really huge godsend. So we schedule in the water cooler chat. And if I'm calling Leanne, bookkeeper, for something, I don't care if it's on the clock or not, if it shows up on our invoice, because really it's value in this connection. The first 10, 15 minutes is figuring out, how's your family? How are the grandkids? How are you doing? Oh, over here. We do monthly PAC meetings that are via Zoom, but we encourage them to be super concise, but fun. So for tonight, we have coffee on me, going out to whomever wears the most pink and red, but they have to wear it through the entire PAC meeting. Coming up, we'll do who has the best sweatshirt, and we kind of do a poll between all of us. Another way that you can keep connection with virtual employees or teammates is scheduling water cooler time. So I've done my best to schedule a time. Hey, I'd like to get on your calendar for next week for 15 minutes. I'll send you a FaceTime or a Zoom, whatever's easiest if they don't have an Apple. And literally, like, please wear your pajamas or be in your sweatpants, and we'll just share coffee. It's really fun if you figure out what their favorite coffee shop is ahead of time. If you call a local coffee shop and say, hey, someone's coming in, can I buy a $5 gift card and have it waiting for them? That goes huge. Like, it doesn't have to be these huge grandiose things, but even just scheduling, hey, I just want to spend 15 minutes chit-chatting about your family. It could go a long way.
You know, Lacey, great point, because that's something that we would be doing if we were working in an environment.
Yeah, how many times was I always asked when I worked corporate, like, hey, you want to do lunch today? Hey, do you want to just grab a cup of coffee real quick? I'll drive and we can chit chat on the way. Now it's just scheduled in and make it fun.
Yep. So as we are doing this, Nancy put her contact information, she wrote a little blurb in there. And so what I would end up encouraging you here in this environment, if you're on our Zoom call, to please put your contact information in there. Because if you would like to reach out to somebody, and I also, if you are willing to speak so that you can talk a little bit, we're here to hold you. This is a safe space. I'd like to hear more, and I'd like to learn more about you. So, hey, Joni, can I pick on you first? Joni?
I was afraid you'd say that.
Hi, Joni.
Hi, I'm Joni.
Hi, Joni. So tell us a little bit about you.
I am the owner of Rhinestone Lifestyle, and I try and find ways to reuse or find dead stock fabrics and try and be more eco-friendly with everyday items. So most of the things I have right now, I can show you one that's right here, actually. This is a custom order for one of my friends, is
cool.
Reusable tote bags. And I've been doing masks and things like that since March now. And I'm still kind of just starting, but that's me in a nutshell.
And Joni, where can we find your products?
I do finally have my landing page working. So we have rhinestonelifestyle.com, and that will take you to the Etsy shop or my Instagram, which is rhinestone.lifestyle.
Well, great. Thank you. So, Marisley, did I say that correctly? I see you wrote something in the chat, but we would love to hear from you, if that's okay.
Sure. Hi, ladies. This is my first time, I think, connecting with you guys. I received the email and I just joined every event that you guys have, and this is my first time. I live in Fairport, New York. I've been here about 2 years. So just learning the groups around, meeting new women. I actually been here about 2 years. So it's nerve-wracking, it's exciting, but it's also different because I come from Florida.
Hmm.
So it's a different weather altogether, freezing here. But I would love to connect with you all, get to know who you guys are, and relationship. I think that's so important.
Great. Welcome. And tell us a little bit more about what you do.
I am right now, I am trying to finish mental health coaching so that way I can help women with the mental illnesses, because sometimes us women, we don't like to talk about depression, anxiety, and fears. So pretty much I try to help women with that area because that was something that I struggled with in the past.
Cool.
Also a life coach, and I help women to kind of find their way, try to guide them. I create personal programs for them, so it depends on what their needs are.
Great. Great. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. And I hope as people are putting their contact information in the chat, please reach out, because again, this is how we make the connections right now.
Awesome.
Kristen, we'd love to hear from you if you'd like to speak.
Oh, hi there. I am Kristen Gregory, and I work at what we call WEDI, which is the Westminster Economic Development Initiative in Buffalo. We run an organization also called the West Side Bazaar, which has a lot of, it's an incubator for ethnic vendors as well as restaurateurs. We also are a CDFI, so we're a lender, and I am the community engagement coordinator. I work with all our volunteers. We also have an education component where we help immigrant children to with literacy and to be able to read, to communicate with others, many who've just come to this country, which is very exciting. We also, I look after the business mentors. So all of our loan clients, we set them up with mentors. So if anyone would like to be a mentor, that would be super. I come from, I also am a nutritionist, which doesn't kind of play into being a business counselor, but there you go. I am a certified nutritionist and a wellness coach, but my many years, I come from the arts. And so I still am. I sing very often with the Buffalo Philharmonic and various orchestras around, but I'm from the opera world. So I have sung all over the world. And I still love to do it. I still, of course, with COVID, lots of concerts have been shut down and everything like that, but I still am very active in the arts world. And I have also been a professor at Niagara University and at Canisius College in Buffalo. So there you go. That's who I am. And I'm very pleased to all meet you. And I also look after all the workshops that we do at WEDI. So if any of you ever want to come and do a webinar or a workshop, please just contact me, because we do them every Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month. And it's from 4 till 5 o'clock. And they're all virtual, but anyone would like to, let us know what you do and how you can help us or do whatever, that would be super. I think your organization is fantastic. So you guys rule. This is really the workshops you do are terrific. They're very, very interesting. So keep it up. There you go.
So Kristen, thank you for that. And I mean, you touch so many different pieces. And first of all, please put your contact information? Because
Yes, I did, actually. I put it into the chat here.
did
So
you? Okay. All right. Because
Buffalo. Yeah.
I'm going to just get a little hint here. Both Lacey and I are opera lovers. We both sit on Syracuse Opera. So, you know, and thank you for being such a, as you were sharing, you touched so many different facets of things you do. So, I mean, it was like, I'm going like, I'm really listening. First of all, thank you for the praise for the Wise Center. So we do have with Megan at the helm, and we have Carolyn here who is helping us with the power hour and really is our, you know, a backbone. And then we've got programs managers. So there's so much here. So yes, I think that there's a lot of collaboration. I truly believe in a lot of collaborations. So yes, I'm going to challenge everybody here on this call to reach out to somebody that said something to you that really kind of grabbed your heart, or really said, oh, I want to know more about that person. Because that's how that connection starts. That's how the trust starts. And that's how we can do things virtually. So, N. Hannah's, I would love to, Captain. So we would love to hear from you if you would like to speak, because you're typing up a whole bunch of things in the chat room, and we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be on. I almost missed it. I have been working with Wise. I've been to a couple of workshops a very long time ago, it seems, and have been flirting around with business and some different things. So as you can see, I'm a health coach, and I've had that training, prior military. The reason the captain is on that is because right now, the things that I do is I work with cadets in Civil Air Patrol. And through that medium, I found that I love aerospace and STEM. And so I'm not a professional, but I teach aerospace and STEM. And then I kind of had the revelation that I was giving away a lot of my time, because that's a volunteer thing that you do when you're in Civil Air Patrol. And I am now focusing my business a little bit more on trying to be the connection between nonprofits and the groups that I actually hope and love and want to share aerospace and STEM with. So it's a lot. And I think my connection, which I loved listening to everyone, is that the mental, physical, and holistic side of it for me is that doing the STEM and aerospace is still the mental side of my holistic journey and hope to share in my community.
Wow. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your service for this country. And thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your beautiful voice.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. This is like the second time someone has said that in the last couple of weeks. And I've been really, really struggling with just being able to actually find my voice and be okay with that. And so this is really awesome for me, but it was truly, oh my goodness. When I did my Wise experience, that was amazing too. And I think every single time I connect and I just try to stay connected with Wise, I am never disappointed. So I just want to say thank you to you guys also. And I hope to also reach out to well, I took pictures of the chat. So I do believe in making that connection and yeah. So thank you guys, everybody.
You know, is your first name, what is your first name?
Natalie.
Natalie. Okay,
Yeah.
Natalie. All right. Now, you know, one of the things, and I'm going to end up saying so many times, one of the biggest things that we do, there's a little bit of and Lacey, you were talking about the fear, a little bit about that voice, you know, and you did a beautiful job because you know what, it came from your heart. So I really appreciate you sharing, and because we would have been robbed. And this is we would have been robbed of the experience of getting to know the good work that you're doing in the world.
Wow, thank you. And that listening, that really resonated. There's a challenge that I was doing, and it's the my hashtag my story challenge. What is it? War, WORRE, Mr. War. He has all these workshops, and that was one of the challenges. And it was to tell your story, and who are we, like you said, but he didn't say it in this way, but who are we to rob other people? And I always think that there's an urgency to anything that is placed upon our hearts. If we're supposed to share it, there's an urgency. I know I feel that I have to get it out. And then I think I've been robbed, you know, for a very long time. And I'm also like girl centric. So I'm really pushing that in classrooms for girls, because girls are silenced a lot. And I think that I have been silenced, and I've decided like no more. And I want to make sure I'm an advocate for that.
Go girl. Seriously. Go girl. And thank you for coming. You know, this is like, and thank you so much everyone for sharing. I know a lot of times it can be, again, it's daunting, but oh, this is just wonderful. And it was wonderful to get to know why you're doing part of what you're doing, because it really it is, Lacey brought it up, the authenticness of it.
I would love to put a plug in. We missed our commercial time, Barb.
Okay. All right.
For any one of you guys who, whether you're listening on Facebook or you're watching this a week into the future, looking back, or here today, if one-on-one business coaching is of interest to you, or if you would like more information about the classes and workshops that we do offer, Carolyn will put the link in the chat box for everyone. And our business coaching is free to you thanks to generous grants and donations.
Now, I want to let you know, because there used to be a way of copying, there were 3 dots under, is it gone now?
A setting that has to be done ahead of time. We may not have set that up to be able to copy and paste from the chat box.
Yeah. So I just copied and paste, but I think that there used to be a thing with 3 dots and you could just say copy, and it would send it to a file. But
Carolyn has been so amazing that she has collected everyone's information and blurbs and said that she would be able to send that out afterward.
Yes. So
love Carolyn. Thank you.
So Kristen, going back to the Y Center, yes, Megan, and then Carolyn and Kim, and then myself, Lacey and Sarisa, the business coaches, to do everything we can to support the people and the women in the community to be able to put that good work out in the world, because that's what you all are doing.
If you guys are looking for an additional resource on how to bring value, because we talk about that word all the time, it's not just helping someone. Value is a very specific word. It sounds stupid, but I really like to look it up at dictionary.com all the time to remind myself what value actually is. This is an amazing book. You can literally read it in the bathtub in an hour. It's tiny. The print is huge, but I have marked it up, underlined it, earmarked it so much. It is the best little... If you want to learn how to bring value, this book is an allegory of what value actually is. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Who wrote the book, Lacey?
It's The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. There's a series, but this is it if you only have one to read.
I like quick books.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Although I just signed up for another textbook. It's an addiction. How many
Yeah.
textbooks does one person need? But that's okay.
Yeah. Would anybody like to share anything about their takeaways from today?
I can start.
Go ahead, Lacey.
So I think the biggest one is fear. Really, although it has, it's tangible and we feel it on an innate level, it really doesn't mean that much. And if we just stand in our authenticity, which sometimes means, hey, I'm going to speak up and I'm not quite sure I'm going to do it right or whatever, I'm just going to go for it, is way more powerful than just staying silent.
Yeah. I want to end up saying the power of connection, the power of learning everything, learning something about each one of you was just really, really amazing, because each one of you have a gift, a passion that needs to be shared. And I think it's just absolutely, I want to really support and thank everyone here for being on this call, because you have contributed to this call. You have contributed, you've touched my heart in a way because of what your authentic self has stated and who you are being as you're showing up in this world. So thank you. And thank you for being here. Marissa, you just took would you like to share anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it would be the power of presence.
Tell me, I got it. I'm the coach. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Presence meaning who you are and what you bring into the meeting, and just by listening.
Yes. You know, in getting people engaged and allowing people, and you know what, it's really, the virtual thing is creating a safe space. There's no judgment here. It's just being who you are in a safe space here. Anyone else?
I wanted to just say showing up. I know that has been something that I have struggled with in the past, just because I have so much going on with the pandemic. So I'm giving myself and everyone else props just for showing up.
Good. Nancy, thank you for being here.
I like that.
Yeah.
Showing
up.
We put these huge expectations on ourselves, like, oh, I have to do this and we're going to do this. And sometimes showing up, we'll just end it there, because that's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Cool. So we're getting to 10 minutes of, so I just really want to reiterate a lot about relationships. Don't be afraid to connect. Don't be afraid that if you send out an email, I sent out an email twice and I didn't hear from them. Don't worry about it. You planted a seed, and at the right time, I truly believe that the universe comes together and brings people together. Don't rob somebody of hearing what you have to say. Be curious, listen to what people have to say, and make that connection. Because you know, Zoom has allowed people, only one person to talk, and I have gotten to know more people on Zoom because only one person is talking, and I would not have had a chance to get to know them. So I appreciate everyone showing up here. Lacey, would you like to close? Anything else?
I was just going to say, even if you are afraid, do it anyway. That's where we leave the comfort zone. It's almost to a point where if you aren't feeling like you're going to pee your pants or throw up or both of those at the same time, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
I'm scared and do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute freaking pleasure. Barb, I love hosting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
You know, and I love this topic. You know, I can go on for hours because it's so important about making the connection. And, you know, even now in this COVID world of Zoom, Teams, and whatever else is out there, you can make a connection and you can make a difference in people's lives. So put yourself out there. All right, my friends, see you on the other side. Come back again. Bye.